three wonderful people who are involved in the care for young people that live with diabetes, type 1 diabetes. Type 1 diabetes is also known as juvenile diabetes, and it's something that is quite prevalent. And we want to find out what it is that it's all about, first of all, and then what they are doing in terms of support and care. All right, so I've been joined by Dr. Betty Banker, Pearl Salome, and Rita Noel. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
How are you all doing?
I'm doing good.
All right, so Doc, let's start with you first. What is diabetes type 1?
Okay, so diabetes type 1 is basically a disorder of, insulin.
Okay.
As far as, we have type 1 and type 2 diabetes, and type 1 is usually what used to be called juvenile diabetes because it affects young people. People are basically born with it. Yes. So
you said it used to be called.
Well, it's yes,
Okay.
but I mean we can still it used to be called diabetes, but it's a nomenclature that's still being used.
Okay.
So what it is that young people with type 1 diabetes or anyone with type 1 diabetes are totally insulin dependent.
Wow.
Yes, because they don't have the insulin that they don't produce
at all.
Enough insulin. Yes.
Or enough.
Or at all, or what they have doesn't work very well.
Okay.
So that's
and usually what's your as a family care doctor, what's the procedure for dealing with it? I mean, how do you go about supporting them, people?
Okay, so because it's something that is basically lifelong, it's not curable. Children or people with type 1 diabetes are insulin dependent, as I said, for life because they need it to live, right? So there's a lot of things that goes into their support, from the right diagnosis to the availability of insulin, and also for the psychosocial support, which is where I come in. Because you find a lot of adolescents who have it, and already with adolescents there's already issues, and then you have this on top of it. So there's a lot of things that go into it. So we have psychology involvement, we have nutrition, which is, we'll be talking about it as a theme for our camp. And then we have also, other support.
Okay. Right, Pearl, tell us how you're involved with the AYA camp and what we can expect to.
So this year's focus, like Dr. rightly said, is on nutrition because we've realized that diet plays a major role in managing diabetics, and particularly for the type 1 diabetics. You have a whole range of group of people. You are dealing with young people, you are dealing with adolescents, and then mid-aged people. And so the way you manage their diet is very important, especially for the younger ones and the adolescents, because they are still growing. You want to focus on particular nutrients that will help in their growth and also help manage the conditions so that they don't have complications setting in early. And so this year we are focusing on healthy eating and healthy living.
Healthy eating, healthy living.
For healthy living,
Okay. Now, Rita, you're a warrior. What does that mean?
Well, it means that I live with diabetes, basically. Yeah, that's what it means.
Okay. And what has been your experience with the camps, if you can share something?
Okay, well, first and foremost, the camps are so much fun. And we learn a lot of things. It's educational. So it's fun, educational, and there's this sense of family. Everybody meets, everybody interacts, we hear stories. So you realize that you're not the only person living with this condition. So you feel strong. You feel strong knowing that, okay, I'm not alone in this world living with diabetes. So it gives you it just keeps you optimistic, yes, and that the future is bright. You have a whole lot of things to do, so having diabetes shouldn't stop you at all.
Okay, tell us, when did you first know that you had this condition?
I was 12 or 13.
Okay.
Yes.
And mind sharing us how long you've been living with this?
13 years.
13 years?
Yes.
What has it been like?
A lot of ups and downs. More downs than the ups.
What's the downs like?
There's a lot of uncertainty, yes, and there are a lot of restrictions too. But I mean, if you're a positive thinker and you have...
When you say restrictions, like what?
With a diet and say basically with their diets, you know, you can't eat this, you can't eat this. The moment you try to put something in your mouth, your parents, your friends, no, don't eat this, no, don't do this, or your doctor, don't do this, things like that. So you're restricted with diets, not exercise, but let's say sports.
Okay.
Exercise
So
is
heavy
good.
activities.
Heavy activities.
Okay.
It could easily bring your sugars down, and that's something you don't want.
Yeah.
Yes.
Look, let me come back to you on this one, because Pearl said something about complications, you know, that can arise. And then also Rita is talking about restrictions. Explain to us what are some of the challenges that these persons that have type 1 go through.
Okay. So what happens is that she mentioned exercise. Young people like to exercise. I mean, people are active.
Yeah.
And what happens is that when you exercise, you end up burning a lot of the sugar. So we have, right after exercise, you may have a high sugar, and then it bottoms out. So really, whatever exercise you decide to do, you really have to talk to your doctor about it and know how to manage it. Okay. Another thing too is that, I mean, young people, like she said, you know, who wants to be restricted? You can't eat this, you can't eat that, you can't. And we know that diabetes is mainly diet. Is one of the main ways of controlling it because of the because of the pathology of it. So that becomes a difficult thing. And then also, I mean, it's for socially, you know, you go out with your friends, you go to KFC or whatever, you like to be part of the group, and then you have to leave and go and get yourself, you know, an insulin shot and things like that. So it becomes very difficult. And after a while, you know, they decide, some of them was like, you know, to heck with all of this, you know, I'll just eat what I want, you know, but then, which is understandable, you know, and so we end up with people even getting into depression, and, you know, so we have to deal with the mental health aspects of it. And then you also have, one of the main things that is a problem is that we have parents who may not understand what they have. Parents who deny that their children have it, and so they don't seek help in a timely manner. And actually, even the society, you know, you talk to people and they say, oh, do children also get diabetes? You know, and people don't really understand that, yes, they do, and they need care. And most of the time, because we are in denial, we don't have the kind of support that we need for them. As far as medications, making sure they have the insulins when they do, whether, you know, they have to leave school and then go for their reviews, and also when they're in the boarding schools, you know, for their house mistresses and things like that, to know that they need to keep their insulin, you know, they need to have certain diets and things like that. So it's been quite challenging that way.
I'll come back to you on the psychosocial care, but what can we expect this year from the camp, and what are you looking forward to?
Yeah, so at the camp this year, we are looking forward to sharing materials with them, especially about their diet and nutrition, and then stuff about medical care, how to get their insulin shots and stuff like that. Because like Dr. rightly said, diet is plays a major role in managing this. So we believe this is a big platform for us to use to kind of educate them to know and understand that it's not all about restrictions. You can also have everything, but then it depends on the quantity and the time.
Is the camp fully booked already? Do you have everybody? Or
we actually started yesterday.
Oh, okay.
The camp started yesterday. It's going to continue today. Today we are going to have learning sessions, activities going on to keep them interacting.
Where is the camp taking place?
It's going on at Cape Coast.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see. Wonderful. So, Rita, when you look into the future, what are some of your hopes and aspirations?
I hope to be a translator, bilingual translator, and have a big family. I mean, get married, have children, be rich also. And I have big dreams. I have big dreams, and I know that diabetes is not stopping me at all, because in a way it's a blessing in disguise.
Okay, how so?
Because people who don't have diabetes are also struggling, and some are not and are achieving their dreams. Why can't I? Diabetes is, let's say, 2% of my life. I have a lot more ahead of me, and I'm hell-bent on like achieving them.
Fantastic. So you have to be a psychologist as well sometimes?
Yes. Which, okay, as I said before, I'm a family physician,
Yes.
and we provide comprehensive, coordinated, continuous care.
Okay.
That means
Comprehensive, coordinated, and continuous.
Yes.
Okay.
So when someone comes, when a client comes, you know that the person who comes, actually, the summary of a family physician is that we don't look at the type of disease the person has, we look for the type of person who has the disease. So when a patient comes in and they are not well, it's not just about, here, take medicine, I'm going to take it. The person came from a family, we have to know how the family situation is like. Can you afford your drugs? What are your ideas about your illness?
Yeah.
What are your fears? What are your expectations? So all of these things is part of family medicine, which makes it really well placed as far as the care of patients.
But you're also a volunteer with the
Yes.
camp.
Yes.
So tell us what it's been like for you as a volunteer.
As a volunteer, it's been, I learn a lot from these kids. It's amazing how resilient they are. You go and then, even with the difficult social problems or family problems, they still, we meet once a month at Ridge Hospital,
Okay.
As a support group.
Okay.
And, that's when everybody comes together, and even though they've had maybe a very difficult time during the week, they come and then everybody is, supports each other. They encourage everyone to,
We have pictures from the camp.
yes, they encourage people to, hold on, when someone is having problems, they say, oh, I don't want to inject my insulin right now, call me, or do this and do. So it's very, I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot about camaraderie. I've learned a lot about, just supporting each other.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Pearl, we're looking at some of the pictures from the previous camps.
Yeah.
What's the age range? How young is the youngest and how old is the oldest?
So as at last year's camp, the youngest was like 7 years old.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
so from 7 years to about 22, 23 years old.
22?
Yeah.
23 years. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It sounds like, looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It looks like a lot of fun that they're having there. I saw the one where they're climbing the ropes and all that. Now, so my difficulty, I guess, in my mind is, I know that you said that you can do, almost any kind of sport, but you have to sort of be careful, the level of strenuous, activity that you engage in. Looking at the ropes that we're climbing there, I'm just imagining myself doing that. What sort of sports are a complete no-no? Is there such a thing? Or they can literally do anything, just limit the level of, strenuous engagement?
There really isn't a no-no.
Okay.
But you have to work with your doctor.
Okay.
We had, last year, we had someone come from the UK who's a marathon runner.
I see.
Yes. So really you have to work and then know when the
Interesting.
sugars, know how to really sort of titrate your medication and then also know what to eat when. And there's one who is also a boxer. In the UK.
Okay.
So you really have to, like as she said, it's about 2% of your life.
Yeah.
So it's something that you really need to work with a diabetologist or your doctor to know that, okay, this is what I want to do, and then they would monitor how much you are taking and when to take it. What do you need a load just before your
The
activity and then after the activity to what happens.
Okay.
So.
Okay, so now, as you're describing this, I'm suddenly remembering a classmate of mine. We were in, I think, Form 3, and that's my first recollection. And he was giving himself insulin shots, and I found it very interesting that somebody could inject themselves. Is this something you train them to be able to do and handle their own injections?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they know that this is what basically life depends on it. So they learn how to do it. They even teach each other when new ones join. They teach each other. It's like a peer, So it's really good. And now they are coming up with different ways of making the injection less painful.
Okay.
So hopefully we'll get there.
What are some of your, Rita, what are some of your fondest memories from these camps?
The excursions. 2
Okay.
years. 2 years ago, it was held at Cape Coast as well, and we went to Elmina Castle. We toured the entire castle, and I mean the view from the seaside is really beautiful.
Yeah.
And they told us stories as well about the colonial times. So that was really fun, and bonding with everybody. Yes, we played football as well. We learned a lot. We ate together. So last year's camp, there was this dancing competition. Everybody danced, and I was like, wow, people are talented.
Yeah.
So yes, that's
Did you win a prize?
I didn't dance.
You didn't dance?
No, I was so shy.
So, Pearl, what's the size of the camp usually? Numbers?
So usually we have about 100 or 120 people coming, including volunteers. So this year
That's a
we
lot
are
of people.
expecting about 120 people.
I see.
So about 100 warriors and then about 20 volunteers, including a medical team, doctors, nutritionists, and then volunteers generally. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for talking to us. Is there anything, a last word you want the viewers to know? Something you want them to know? Anything at all?
I want people to know that diabetes, yes, it does affect children.
Okay.
Yes, and that when it's not spiritual. Okay, so
All right.
when
Important.
when a child is not well, or when you hear of that, there's a support group, and they have. It's not the end. There are happy. There's a lot of happy things that can come with it. Yes.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. We've been speaking to Rita Noel, who's a warrior with the young people that are living with diabetes and with the AYA camps. Also, we've been talking to Pearl Salome, who is a volunteer, and also Dr. Betty Banker, who is a family care doctor, but also a volunteer with the AYA camps. Thank you very much for watching this segment of the show. My name is David Sakyi.
Hi guys, I hope you enjoyed this video.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Citi Tube.
For exclusive breakfast daily content and other Citi TV programs.
Like, comment, and share with your friends.